time when I was alone, nowhere to go and no place to call home.
Hi there, Indigo Red Solar coming to you live. So today I wanted to talk to you about something that I really shouldn't be talking about, and that's the 5D. Why shouldn't I be talking about it? It's because I really don't know how to talk about it, how to explain it or anything about it. Like, you have to understand that right now I see myself and I see that all of us are trying to master the 4D, the fourth dimension, time. And until we can do that, it's like the 5D is a part of it, but we won't even be able to live in it or even understand it till we get there. So the only reason why I ever think about the 5D, and I strongly encourage you to do the same, is to practice. To practice what it is like to live in a world that you never imagined, and then all of a sudden have, and all of a sudden not only do you have it, but you can do anything you want. It's a pretty cool game in my opinion. So do it like that, and maybe you'll be able to imagine a world where um, the trees are made of gold. I mean, that's a simple example. Maybe they're not made of gold, but they shine like gold and so beautiful. Or maybe the sun is, instead of being warm and bright, it's just, I don't know. I really don't know what would be better than warm and bright though. So I'm gonna keep the sun as it is in my head right now. But it's like the power of imagination is so big. We should use it for something that's fun and not so depressing all the time. Because that's something that I tend to do a lot, and that is, instead of imagining a world where I am king and I am boss, or I am wise and I am strong, whatever it is that I want to be in my world, instead I'm focusing on the reality that I'm in, which is oftentimes bleak. You have to understand the reality is what you make it. And just because you may be living in a world where everything is going wrong doesn't mean that you have to accept it. It doesn't mean that you have to put up with it. So going back to the 5D really quick, I really want to try and put a little more forward on it, because I heard once this guy try and explain what is the shape of the universe, right? And he's like, well, maybe scientists have like, maybe it's just like a blob expanding because of the Big Bang. It's just like a blob, no shape, shapeless, formless, and yet probably you can see bumps everywhere, and it's like really big here but really tiny here, and like super flat here, whatever you want it to be, and with bumps everywhere. um, I also have thought about it as a toroidal field, like a vortex where everything is flowing inside and flowing back out and inside. Like, the Big Bang isn't really a Big Bang, it's just rather the coming back together and then the expansion again, the implosion and then the expansion of the universe. But then this guy also came up with a pretty cool concept. If you look down really small, what is the smallest thing that we can somewhat see and detect? That's subatomic particles, like protons, neutrons, electrons, and I guess if you want to go smaller, you can go quarks and neutrinos and all that shit. But let's stay with just subatomic, because that's where everybody still agrees on at some point. And then you have the atoms, which are just made of the subatomic, and it's like a big blob with electrons spinning around it, right? So then you go from that, and then you go up a little bit more, and then you have like molecules. You have composition of multiple atoms. You have water, which is like two hydrogen and one oxygen. No, yeah, two water and one. I haven't done chemistry in a while, you guys. Shit. But you go further up, and then you start having cells, and that's where you have life somewhat, right? I mean, before then you have like energy. Essentially, you can't really say that that molecules or atoms are alive. They just have a sense of purpose in a way. They move. They have qualities to them that allow them to exist. But then once you get to cells, and you have all of a sudden the ability to think and to live. And I'm in my head, I've somewhat started to think, what if cells live in their own world, cell world, okay? And maybe within those cells, everything that's going inside, all the enzymes, all the mitochondria, and the DNA, ribosomes, everything that's part of a cell, that's like an actual building, or maybe the cell itself is like a world, and inside that world, everything inside it is like the world we live in. You have the ribosomes, which produce energy, like our power plants, or the wait, no, that's mitochondria that do that. The ribosomes, I don't remember what the ribosomes do. I think they transport genes from one place to the other, and then you have the nucleus, which houses the genes, the DNA, and it's like, in a way, when you build that up and you take what the DNA makes, the protein, that's all the work that we do, all the proteins that we make, all the manufactured goods in a way, and it gets exported and moved around. And the way the cell world works a lot like planet Earth world. But alright, so then you go a little step higher, and they have multicellular organisms, which are like bacteria, or maybe small creatures. I don't know, like you have multicellular, and then you have organisms like living beings, like animals and plants and stuff. And then you get up higher, and you have like human beings, and then you get higher, and then instead of having human beings, anything higher than human beings being alive, you have everything dead again. You have planet Earth, which is not dead. We know it's not dead. It's alive. It's a living being with its own essence. So once we get to that point, we're having to accept that we're somewhat like the ribosomes or the mitochondria of a cell, and we have a purpose within that cell. So it is our purpose to take care of it and do what we need to keep it going. The cell couldn't exist without all its enzymes, and planet Earth can't exist without us in a way. Maybe it could, but it wouldn't be planet Earth anymore either. So just think about that too. Now let's get a little bit bigger. And then you have galaxies. You have solar system, but then you have the galaxy, and that's a big conglomerate of stars, and stars have planets around them possibly, and planets with possibly life. So in a way, everything just keeps getting bigger, but everything stays the same. So I'm thinking, once we get past the 4D, which is like the existence of it and the fluidity of it, then you have multi dimensions, multiverse theory, right? Where even though you have everything that could have happened, then you have everything where everything could have happened with a slight variant, and then again another level where everything would happen with a slight variant. Think about it Rick and Morty style, where you can travel from one universe to the other, and you have Cronenberg, Morty and Rick and Morty. You can have regular Rick and Morty, you can have cowboy Rick and Morty, or whatever you want. And it's like, and then you also have like within that universe the whole fucking teenyverse and microverse and whatever you want to call it. It's like, it doesn't matter where you go, creation is always creating itself. And once you get past the 4D, I gotta think, maybe the 5D version of us is looking down on us with its own little instruments. Like we look down on cells with microscopes, or whatever electroscopes or whatever they're using now. So it's like, it's crazy when you start thinking about just how much things stay the same, even though they change every day. Anyways, Let me know what you think about this little theory. I'm still working on it. It feels really good to get it out there, like get it out of here into there, and I hope that you're still enjoying the videos. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. This is Indigo Red Soldier telling you to love everybody you can. If you're not doing what you love, do what you can, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Namaste.
There was a time when I was alone, nowhere to go and no place to call home.